Hello, and welcome back. This video is about video quality options. And a special thanks to all my supporters. Thank you for helping me help others. So to start, once again, we can look at the game user settings class. And in here, there's a bunch of get, set, etc. functions. We've looked at some like the resolution and whatnot. There's also a set of quality functions somewhere. Starting here. So that's a pretty big list. There's about 10 or 12. They're all the same format. So you have a set function takes int 32. You have the get function that returns that int 32. The value is clamped between 0 and 4 for low, medium, high, epic, and cinematic. This is the overall one that sets it across the board, and then there's ones for just a whole bunch of things. If you did a search in here for cinematic, you'd probably find them all. So with that in mind, we're going to go into our td.h. I'm going to add a new enum. I shall just copy this whole one here, throw it at the bottom. We're going to call this quality option type. And for this, we have our overall, view distance, etc. I'll just copy paste the rest in. So each of these enum values just represents one of the quality functions, combo functions. And we're just going to use the enum to iterate through and process it in the editor. So I'll hit F5 here, and I will see you in the editor. So back in the editor, the first thing we're going to do is add a pair of utility functions to our function library. This will be get video quality. In here, we're sending in the enum value. So that's our quality option type, which I'll just name quality option type. Then I will duplicate this, and this is just set video quality. This will also take in a quality level, which is an int. So back in our get video quality, we're going to return an int, but I'll just do that in a bit. The first thing we want to do is call our get game user settings, and then promote that to a local variable. Let's call it td_gus as usual. And then we want to use our quality option type to call switch. So in here, we're then using our td_gus to call get. For the first one, it's overall scalability level. And then just going to add a return node, drag in this return value. We'll call that quality level. And I'll hook this up over here. So then we want get view distance, get shadow quality, get global illumination, etc. And each of these just has a return. So I'll just pause the recording and then finish up the rest of these. And there we go. We have them all in place, all hooked up, hopefully properly. You can see there are many calls. So similarly, we're going to do this, copy this to our set video quality. And for this again, when you copy in a variable like this, you can then right-click it to make sure it gets created. Drag that out, and we're calling set in this case, so set overall. We want our quality level that's sent in. And similarly, I'll pause the recording and do this myself. And with that done, we have all the set functions and the quality values set up. As you can see. And I forgot to throw in a sequence here. So we want a sequence before the switch. I'm just going to crowd this around here. And then the sequence is so that we can then call apply settings. Non-resolution may work here. I'm just going to use apply settings for now. And of course, uncheck this because we're in the editor. And with that done, we'll build some more UI. So in our main menu folder, I'm going to create another widget. This will be WBP Video Quality Row. This row widget will just be created for each of the equality types. So to start, we want a horizontal box. Inside that box, we want a text block, followed by a button with text on it, another text, and then another copy of this button. So all of these base level ones here will be fill. Oh, and I put the text at the end. Oh, the duplication did that. Okay, I want this text between the two buttons. So this button will be left button. This is right button. This first text box is our quality name. The middle text block is quality text. And then we'll use some fancy graphics on these buttons. A less than and greater than sign. We want the buttons to be 0.1, or rather, we'll just do 10. We'll make this first text block 50. The middle text block then would be 30. And we'll see how that works. These two text blocks, we can then also make them centered. And I believe that's everything. We want all four of these to be variables. And then into the graph. So we're going to create a few variables. We want our quality option type, which is of course quality option type. We're going to use a map for our quality to text. This will be an int, and we'll be mapping to a text value. And lastly, we have our quality level, which is just simply the int. So first we'll create a function, which is update quality text. So in here, we want to call the get video quality utility function. And we're going to send our quality option type to it. Incidentally, that quality option type we want to expose on spawn, which means we need instance editable and expose on spawn. And the return value here is the quality level that we're setting. We can then use the quality to text map to find an entry of that integer and set that to the quality text controls set text. So that means that our quality to text is a map. We're going to compile so it has a default value. I'm going to pop this up so there's more room. And when I add an entry here, because it's an int key, it's a pain. It won't add 1 or any other number, it just does that. So we have our 0 to 4 for our low, medium, high, epic, and cinematic types. And there's also custom, which is a -1. So then we can add our 0, set it to the highest, which is 4, and do it backwards. 3, 2, and 1. So this is epic, high, medium, and low. And back in our event graph, we want to call the update. Let me resize this first. I want to call our update quality text in the construct here. And this is a function because we want to be able to call it multiple times. However, we also have our quality name text field, which we can set to text, and this only needs to happen the one time. And this is simply our quality option type enum value. We can't directly convert that to a string or to a text. There's no toText. There's a toText byte, but we can convert it to a string, which then will let us convert it to text. And make sure we hook that up. Lastly, we have our left and right buttons, so we can click here, click on the onClicked, and the same for the right button. For both of these, we're going to be taking our quality level. For the left, we'll basically subtract 1 from it. And the end result there, we can just clamp it from 0 to 4, which is our cinematic value. Set that back to our quality level. And use that to call set video quality, sending along our quality option type and our quality level. And then calling update quality text. And then for our right button, it is effectively the same thing. We can copy this down here. This will actually be a +1. Which gets set to quality level as well. And since the rest of this code is going to be the same, we can just drag this up here. The last thing we want to do, because there will be cases where we update a quality level, it should have an effect on the UI outside of its own quality level. I'll explain that in a little more detail in a bit. But to do that, we're going to create a new event dispatcher. We'll call this on updated quality level. And for that, the input is going to be the quality option type. So then we can drag that out. We're going to be calling it, sending along our quality option type. And that's it for this widget blueprint. Next, we're going to go into our WBP options. We have the video options over here. It's not quite large enough, so we'll just make the size here 820 vertically. And then back in our video options, at the bottom here, I'll just copy and paste this. This one can be video quality options. Make the spacer just a little bigger. And then under here, we're just going to put in another vertical box. We'll call this one quality options box. Make it a variable. And then in our graph, create a new function. We'll call this update video quality rows. And for this, we need to create a new variable, which call this WBP video quality rows, which is a video quality rows, or row rather, the plural because it's an array. So that array will be filled in construct, but in here then we want to iterate through it. This is the function for the event dispatcher we created. So this needs to have an input of quality option type. And the purpose here is so that for each of the video quality rows, we can then call our update quality text, but that will only happen in specific situations. So we'll throw a branch in here. And as you've seen many times in many games, the quality levels typically have, well, at least in Unreal games, they have a overall and then a quality option for each type, as we've seen. When you change the overall, it changes all the other ones, resets them to that value. And when you change any of the other ones, it also changes the overall to custom. So that's why we have this here. We want to take our quality option type that's been sent in. In the case where that is equal to our overall, that means the overall value was changed. We then want update quality text to be called on every single one of those quality values, so it updates that text. However, in the case where the quality option type is not overall, update quality text has already been called in its own little control. We need to make sure that the overall one also gets called. So in that case, we can drag this out, get the quality option type of the control itself, and also check to see if it's overall. And then we want either of these conditions to call the update quality text. So again, to reiterate, if the value we set in here is from the overall setting, everything gets update quality text. If it's anything else, then only the overall gets the update quality text. And I almost forgot that extra pin. So with that, we also need a function to create quality rows, or video quality rows if you prefer. And in here we can do a for each quality option type. So first we're just going to save this as a local variable. And for some reason it connects it to completed instead of loop. And since in the nums I create, I usually like to have a none. However, we don't want that to be used in this case, so as long as it's not the none value. We want to then create a widget that will be of the type video quality row. The expose on spawn value pops up here, which is our quality option type. We'll save this as well as a convenient local variable. And then we will add it to our array of rows. Add it as a child to our quality option box. And lastly, we want to bind event to on updated quality chain or quality level. And we drag out the event we call create event. And if you hadn't created update video quality rows already, you could just do a matching function and rename it. And lastly, with that done, we want to make sure this function gets called. So we're going to throw this in our begin play. and do some testing. Actually, I want this to take up the full window because it's kind of big. So we'll just test here. Sizing worked out a little different in here than my test project, which is interesting. Oh, that's because I didn't put spacing, or at least partly because I didn't put spacing. Let's fix that because we don't really want these buttons to be that close together. So because we're adding this as an entire row, finding out where the padding goes for this can be a little bit of a pain. But basically we're adding it as a row. So it's actually back in our designer for our video quality row. It's the widget right at the top here, and we have padding here. So if we just throw padding of 2 at the top and the bottom, run that again. It looks a little better. Sizing is still a little off, but that's fine. So as you can see, it iterated through all of the enum values. One thing that's interesting and nice to note is that there's a function in fname that will take a string value, and if the string value has capitals inside of the string, it will add spaces. It's a C++ function you cannot call directly from Blueprints, but it gets called when you add an enum name, well, not just an enum name, any name that's set up like that into a control. So it's kind of handy. All right, so if we set this, you can see that it'll go all the way down to low, all the way up to cinematic. If we set the overall, it's currently at -1. It goes to low initially. We set that up. As soon as we switch one of these values, overall goes back to custom. So one last time, in that update function, if overall is the thing that was changed, it will update, or we'll call the update for all of these, so the text gets updated. If any of these is called, the update gets called internally, and then it also calls the overall update. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video and would like to see more, you know what to do. And if you would like to support this channel, watch these videos 2 weeks early, or just want to download the project files, you can do so through my Patreon linked below.